Hello, I'm Lucy Jennings from the Creativity Patch. Come along with me and let's do some happy weaving. Now it's time to get the fabric ready for the weaving. And I'm going to cut my strips, about 1/2 inch. Now you notice that this one started out at 1/2 inch and it ended up about 1.5 inches. It got wider. That's because as I tore it, it was just tearing along the grain. And when it was cut at the store, they were just cutting it by measuring it and it wasn't on the grain. So I could still use this piece. Now I'm going to have to remember that this one goes from really skinny to really fat, which might be kind of a fun effect as I'm weaving. But all the rest of them will be even because I have started tearing it on the grain and it stays that way. The piece of fabric ends just like it began. Since it was cut at the store, they were just measuring it on the measuring table. But as I tear it on the grain, you can see the last piece also goes from very thin to, I even thought I had enough room to tear 2 more pieces. So I'm going to save that one also to the side to remember it's a little different. And it could add a very nice effect as I'm weaving later on. And I'll do all of these fabric strips the same way. Remembering that the first and the last will probably be not as even as the ones that I tear in the middle of the fabric. I'm going to go ahead and tear off the other end too. Now I know all the middle ones are all going to be even. Now remembering that the first one won't be as even and the last one won't be as even. So I'll just go to the other side and tear it off. Ooh, that's really not even. Want to see a trick to tear them even faster? What I do is I take 2 of the little pieces at one time, hold the rest in my other hand, and I rip twice as fast. This technique can really come in handy when you're tearing fabric that's about a few yards long and lots of it. I really love the color variations in this piece too. It's really going to weave up pretty. Tearing off the last one. And just one more thing I want to point out before we get started. When you choose a fabric that you'd like to weave with, yes, of course, this is a very pretty pattern. I love it. But when I look at it, what I think of is it's going to weave up with little speckles of green along with these other colors like the reds and the yellows mixed in. So I know it's not going to be exactly this pattern as I weave it, but I really think it's going to be a nice effect to have all these little dots of green. I'm going to take 2 at a time, just like that, unrip it. So these are the extra ones that were different lengths, and I'm going to keep them to the side, and I might decide to use them as I'm weaving. And here are all the fabric strips ready to go. Time to start weaving. If you'd like to learn more about weaving, subscribe to my channel. And be sure to check out my website, The Creativity Patch. There's lots more things to learn there, and I've got some really fun weaving kits. See you there, and happy weaving!